even before we moved to this country, my mom has always had that goiter. But when she came in here, my goodness, we're like, wow, this is so big. My husband was really concerned and was like, okay, you know what? I think you need to go and see the doctor. Like, I would have wanted my room, personal dressing room, and then hubby has his own dressing room, because hubby is not the kind of person to share room with. I'm telling you. I feel like my mom really prepared us for marriage from onset. I mean, typical African woman, any small thing you do, she'll be like, is this how you're going to serve your husband in the future? Is this how you're going to do this? Is this how you're going to do this? So then we used to see it as, this woman safe, is everything husband. But now thinking about it, I would say it really, really helped. So the first question here says, how old are you? I haven't forgotten how old I am, seriously. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Real Life with Didi. Another banger. I know it's been a while, you guys. So many things happened. I think I've been carrying you guys along as well. Mom visited, a lot of things happened, things we didn't expect, and then here we are. But don't worry, I have not forgotten you guys. So in this episode of Real Life with Didi, we're going to do something completely different. Something different from what we are used to doing on Real Life with Didi. This time around, I'm going to be answering all your questions. Like, I've gotten so many questions. Even during the period Mom was here, I got loads of questions as well, which included her surgery, how she was able to come in here and all that. I will try my best to answer as much as I can without giving away so much, if you know what I mean. It's gonna be really, really tricky, because in as much as we are content creators and we want to share a lot of things, we still know that there is a limit to the things we can share. Nothing personal, just, just that thing called boundary. So let us not waste your time. And if this is your first time of ever watching any episode of Real Life with Didi, please go ahead to send us an email with your story. That is what we usually do, just that we're doing something different today. And we've got other episodes, so go back and watch them, or I'm going to link them in the description box for you. And you can send your stories to this email here. Okay, let's kick it off. So I'm going to start by answering a lot of questions. I've got some questions I asked you guys on Instagram, which you guys sent a long time ago, just that I've not had time to sit down and actually chat with you. I also mentioned that I've got questions from Mom as well, like questions pertaining Mom's visit as well. So I'm going to be sharing the truth behind her visit, but I'm going to reserve the story or the truth or how she was able to navigate the system and, have a surgery, the cost and everything involved. I'm going to leave that part for the ending part of this video, so stay tuned so that you will not miss that juicy part. Normally I wouldn't share that information, but the reason why I decided to share is because I realized there's no much information, like practical information about it online. And when it happened to us, we were almost kind of lost. We're almost a bit confused. We didn't know where to go. We didn't know who to ask. We didn't know what to do. But thank God we were able to sort it out. So that is the reason why I feel like I still need to share some parts that I can share with you all. Let's get right into the video without wasting your time. So the first question here says, how old are you? This person, what do you want to use my age do? I've always been very, very, very skeptical about sharing how old I am. Should I not? Well, I'm gonna tell you guys how old I am, because age is just a matter of number. But also drop me a comment and let me know how old you guys have always thought I am, or how old you think I am. Irrespective of the fact, I'm gonna tell you how old I am. Anyways, I am. Wait, hold on. I haven't forgotten how old I am, seriously. Like, because I stopped the moment I hit 30. I stopped counting. I don't know, just something personal. I just stopped counting. Anyway, I'm 34. I think yes, I'm 34. I'm 34 years. Okay, do I look 34? Let me know. My first son is 12 or almost 12. So we'll do the math. The second question says, how were you able to get such a spacious home in this UK? What were the factors you considered when making your home purchase? I'm not really in a good position to share how to buy a house in the UK, but all I can tell you is because I have a video that I made with Hobby about how we were able to save up and buy our house, our first house. This is our first house. Please refer to that video. I'm going to be linking that video in the description box for you so that you just refer to it. But the factors we considered, there were a few things we considered which I feel like due to limited budget, I could have considered more things. Okay, so if you have the budget, I'm gonna also add these things. I'm gonna tell you the things we considered anyway, and then tell you the things I wish I had considered while buying this our first house. We considered the utility room because we're a family. When we're living, we're always washing in the kitchen. We had a washing machine in the kitchen, so we were always washing in the kitchen, and that used to, when you bring in clothes into the kitchen, the whole place would just be looking messy and all that. So I wasn't comfortable with that. So we knew we wanted a utility room, and we also knew we wanted different rooms for the kids. At least Mona and Andre, we knew they were willing to share a room, but Kyra wanted, in fact, not even wanted, we wanted Kyra to own her own room, and then we also wanted a guest room. So that was what inspired the 4-bedroom house we bought. We considered downstairs toilets because where we lived before we moved into our house, we didn't have a downstairs toilet. So every time we were downstairs and wanted to use the toilet, we always traveled upstairs to go and use the toilet, even when we had guests. So we felt that it's a necessity. When there's this privacy, when somebody visits your house, you don't have to go upstairs to use the toilet and then you're snooping into all the rooms and all that. No disrespect, but that's just what we felt. Okay, and space, we also wanted that little space, even though we know that UK houses were really, or they are usually small, generally, but we also wanted something a bit spacious, which we think we got. But right now I can tell you that we want more space because it's already looking or feeling tight for us. Now, the things I would have considered if I had the budget, I would have considered a proper dressing room, not having the wardrobe in our bedroom at all. Like I would have wanted my room, personal dressing room, and then Hobby has his own dressing room, because Hobby is not the kind of person to share room with. I'm telling you, he will always want to see you keep your clothes organized to the T. So sometimes it gets to me, but anyway, I'm used to him. What else would I have considered? I would have considered having a proper home office, like a studio room and all that. But then I wasn't so big into content creation, so I'm not gonna really flog myself about it. But something I'm gonna do to change that is trying to, from now henceforth, trying to see how I can create a filming room and office, like a personal office for myself, because you guys know I work from home, so I need that space where I don't have to be carrying the light. Anytime I want to film, I'll carry the light to this place. Anytime I want to do this, I'll carry, just moving up and down and all that. I would want a very steady place for myself. So these are just the things I would tell you. And yeah, so this person says, my own question is, what prayer did you pray to God to bless you with such a beautiful family and household? My dear sister, this is my very sweet friend. She's an actress. I love her to bits. The thing is, because of the kind of family I come from, I remember anytime we used to pray as kids, my mom would always, I don't know, thinking about then, we used to feel it was too much pressure. But now looking about it, I feel like my mom really prepared us for marriage from onset. So typical African woman, any small thing she will do, she'll be like, is this how you're going to serve your husband in the future? Is this how you're going to do this? Is this how you're going to do this? So then we used to see it as, this woman safe, is everything husband. But now thinking about it, I would say it really helped, because from onset, I always tell myself, this is the kind of man I want, someone like my dad, someone this, someone that. So when I was dating my husband, I think from the onset, from the first week we got to know ourselves, I just knew that this is the kind of person I wanted. Even as much as he didn't have that swag, he didn't have all those, yuppie things that I would have wanted in a guy, but I just saw potential in him and all that. So I don't know how to explain it honestly, but all I can say is just God. Marriage is all about, both of you meeting each other halfway. Sometimes we fall out. Up till now, how many years into marriage, we still fall out. But I feel like I have come to understand him. I've come to know what he can do, what he cannot do. I've come to also limit some expectations, like just knowing that we are all human beings. There can be flaws. We can all mess up and all that. And what really makes the difference is us having the ability to forgive each other and, trusting that we are not actually trying to harm each other. It could just be minor mistake and oversight and just generally just understanding each other. That's all I can say. Thank you very much. Anyways, one of the greatest lessons in life. I always say this: don't let people tell you what you should be, and don't let people bottle you up because of what people will say. Now, kind of background I come from is the kind of background that I would never be doing what I'm doing now. I would always want to aim to be that very, that's very professional, workaholic, studying, doing my PhD, just making sure that I live that perfect life. That was a good dream, but I would say the moment I just told myself, I do not care what anybody says. I don't care if they like what I do. I don't care if they think I'm showing off, because initially people used to think I was showing off. Yes, people used to think when especially when we bought our house, when I started making content about our house and all that, because this is not something that's common in our place like in Nigeria. So people, especially my friends back home, used to think, oh, this girl is showing off her home. She's good. But my husband and my family always understood. Even my parents had their reservations, but my husband had that understanding, because I always tell him right from time that, look, it's not about showing off. For me, this is what is giving me joy. So I feel like I can just create content around it. And to be honest, just having my husband's support for me then was just all I needed, because at the moment I said, damn what any other person thinks, that was the beginning of me being myself. Do you understand? So my biggest lesson in life, I would say, is be yourself. Be yourself. Just do what makes you happy. Do that thing that tickles your fancy. So when did you start your content creation career? Woo, okay. I think I made a video about this. It all started here on YouTube. I think it was when I had Kyra. I was bored and all that. I'm not going to go into the full details, but I'm just going to give you highlights. I was bored and all that, and I was, as a homebody, I started creating content on YouTube, even though I didn't know what I was doing, because if I look at those videos now, I cringe. I would say that then it was just more about killing boredom, but when I actually took it to the next level and took it serious was when I decided to start creating content on Instagram as well, intentionally creating content on Instagram. That was when I took it serious. And then the moment I hit my first 10K, I took it to the next level. I said, okay, this is no longer a hobby. I can actually make a living out of it. So here we are. What motivated you to start interior decoration? Okay, it's all boils down to me loving what I do in my house, and people coming to my DM to say, oh Didi, I need your help, I'm like, what are they even needing my help for? What are they even seeing that they're needing my help? And then I remember spending time to help somebody to decorate her hallway on Instagram, free of charge. Then I wasn't even seeing it as anything. I just spent time, all that. I was so exhausted after spending the whole day, because I spent the whole day on this person. I became so exhausted, and I told myself, look, I'm not gonna do this. If I have to do this, I have to make money out of it, because it was so stressful for me that day. When you feel mentally exhausted, that was where I felt, because I felt like somebody had taken something out of me. So that was when I now decided to put a price to my services, and yeah, that's it. Somebody asked, thanks for this opportunity. Do you suggest single duvet for a single bed or double duvet for a single bed? Yeah, so I would suggest every bed you have, if you want to buy a duvet, take it one size higher. So let's say you have a double bed, do king size duvet. You have a king size bed, do super king size duvet. So for a single bed, you do double duvet. Period. There's always that luxurious feel it comes with. Where can I buy stuff to decorate my home? There are so many places to buy stuff. So if any brand sponsors me, you guys, I'm gonna spill. So I'm just joking. There's so many places to buy home decor. So many. I don't know how to answer this one, but so many. Anyway, hi Didi. The mirror I had above my console table just fell and broke. Now I want to know if it's okay to put wall art above my console instead of a mirror. The wall looks weird right now without anything. So you can either do a mirror or wall art depending on what you want to do. If you look behind me, you're going to see that looks like a console, but I have wall art on top. So it doesn't have to be mirror, but I will always advise mirror. If you have a window facing that space, I will advise you do a mirror, because it's going to bounce back light and make the space look bigger. If you have to do a mirror as well, please do a bigger size mirror, but not too big or not bigger than your console table. I have no question, but just to say you're one of my favorite family. I wish nothing but more happiness. Thank you so much, and I couldn't have been here without you guys. I love you all. Thanks for this opportunity. My question is, how do you handle stress in all areas of life, family, etc? That one, I'm still figuring it out, because stress is too much. It can be too much, especially in this country where we don't have help. We just have to deal with our family all by ourselves. All I can say from my little experience is sometimes just when you feel like your bucket is empty, just take a break. It is okay. You're not a bad mom. You're not a bad wife. Just take a break. And that is something I'm learning to do this year. I know before now I'm not that person to take a break because I feel like, why do I really have to take a break from motherhood? But yes, you can take a break. That doesn't mean you're not their mom. That doesn't mean you're not their husband or their wife or anything. You're still who you are. But what it means is that you just want to refuel. You want to recharge to be able to pour out from your bucket. You can never ever pour from an empty bucket or an empty cup. One thing I want to always do this year is once in a while right now Hobby is preparing for his exam, but I know that I'm beginning to get choked since mom left. So I've told him that once you come back from your exam, either we look for someone to stay with the kids because I know he's going to be stressed out, or you stay with the kids. I take one weekend off and just go and recharge in any hotel, even if it's the same city here. I don't mind, just do my facials, do my massage and all that, and then come back again. And then we can start loving up again. Anyways, that's one of the ways I think. And then you doing that thing you love. I feel like every woman deserves to do something they love. They actually love. Okay, don't just stay idle, because I feel like sometimes idleness as well can also put a lot of mental stress on us. So try to keep yourself busy, do that thing you love apart from just family. You don't have to spend every of your life trying to just do care for your family. Think about yourself, care for yourself, have those quality times. Is it facials? Is it skincare? Whatever, like movie, whatever gives you joy. Always make time to do that for yourself, because your kids need you in good health and shape, okay? How early did you start training your children with house chores? I think I've answered this question before. I always start because, see, I'm a lazy mom, okay? I'm a lazy mom. Quote me any day. I think it's because of the kind of home I'm from as well, because in my home, you're not too small to do any chore. You are not too small. So where I come from, my mom will always make you, you can't be lazy in my house. Even though I've grown into a lazy girl, you cannot be lazy in my house. I think my laziness just came up from the fact that, I am now a grown woman. But jokes apart, the kids, right from when they start crawling, or even when they stand or they start walking, as long as they play with their toys, you can tell your little baby, pick after me. As you're picking, they're picking. To be honest, I think every child has that tendency to want to do what you're doing. So you need to grab that opportunity at that time. Use that opportunity to start letting them do. Don't say, oh no, don't touch it, leave it, don't do that. And that child will now grow up not to want to touch it. And that's when you'll be like, why are you not touching it? It will be too late to touch. What's wrong with me? I didn't take anything before sitting down for this video. God. So just start as early as possible. No age is too small. As long as the child can stand and can walk and all that, let the child start picking up toys, and then you go from there. Start looking out. There's this chart that talks about age appropriate chores. I don't really have it in me, but you can just Google it. You'll see age appropriate chores that your kid can do, and you'll be fine. The next question says, hello Didi, thank you for being so inspiring. I'm new to your channel and this page and all of you. I love your family. I love how Monarch, not sure if I'm spelling his name correct, the eldest of your boys. I love how he is such a little helper, always taking the lead with his siblings, and they are so well mannered. My question is, how did you master that? I just answered that question now, so please take a leap from the question I just answered. The next one is, my question is straight and direct. How much do you charge to help decorate a flat of 3 bedrooms? Okay, so this person says, answer please in my DM. So please, if you're the one that asked this question, I don't know if we have tackled this or not, but we don't really give quote outrightly. We have this consultation where we sit and talk and just get to know your interior needs and look at your space, and then we can give you a quotation for that space if it's something we're willing to do, because I don't take on all projects, to be honest. I have also learned that not all projects are for me and not all clients are for me. So if I feel like it's something that I can push forward with, we then push forward with. I give you all the quotations and all the options, because I know I've got different packages for different people to suit their needs. Okay, so please send us an email or you send me a DM on Instagram. Are you and your family planning to stay in the UK for the rest of your life? Wow, this is a deep question. I don't know the answer to that. Anywhere the wind takes us. But to be honest, I think I'm at that phase in my life where I want to settle. If you asked me these questions a few months ago, maybe last year, I would say no. But right now, I think I want to settle. So, but the one of for the rest of your life, that one, I don't know. I'm not God though, but just know that I want to settle. So, for now, I'm still in the UK. Didi, thank you for being an inspiration to me daily. My question is, how did you manage to get your children involved in doing chores with you, and how often do you clean your home? Thorough cleaning. Thank you very much. I think I've answered this question already. And how often do I clean my home? To be honest, I clean my home every day. But the everyday thing is just like I'm talking to you now, I'm seeing something on the floor. I'll just wait and pick it, or I'll call the kids to pick it up. That's number one. And then weekends, that's when we do like proper cleaning. Toilet, any toilet that is dirty, we wash, we clean. I mean, you guys follow my weekend routine, so you know we clean every weekend, but not properly on Saturday, sometimes Thursday or Friday. And the most important one is I have a cleaner that comes in every 3 weeks to do a deep clean of all the toilets and most of the rooms. So that's how I manage for my own sanity. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. How many rooms are in your house? 4. I wish I had more. Now, let's go into the question that talked about my mom. Woo! Even though there are numerous questions like this, but I'm going to use this one now to answer the question, okay? This person says, I live in Manchester. Please, I want to make an inquiry according to your last post regarding your mom's surgery. My dad just came into the UK with visitor's visa. He has a bad eyesight, and I want to see if he can go for a surgery here. Please, how did you go about it? This question was asked on Monday. I should have even answered this person because I feel like there's no point waiting till I make a video about it. So the thing here is, just like this person's dad, my mom was due for a visit here. I mean, she's like, you guys know, I've not seen my mom for over 5 years, and she hasn't seen any of her grandchildren, like the ones that were born in this country. So we felt it was time for her to visit, and they were on strike. And then we said, okay, Mom, why don't you visit? And she agreed, even though it was a battle. So finally she agreed, and then she came in with a visitor's visa. I'm not going to tell you guys how she applied, because visitor's visa, I mean, when you go to the UK VI, there are rules on how to do these things. So just go there and check how to apply for those that said they want to bring from Nigeria, not this person that already has the dad here. Now, when she came, we already knew, even before we moved to this country, my mom has always had that goiter. But when she came in here, my goodness, we were like, wow, this is so big. My husband was really concerned and was like, okay, you know what? I think you need to go and see the doctor. Let's just ascertain, because the main reason why my husband insisted that she sees the doctor was the fact that when she came, she was always coughing. So she would cough. And sometimes she wouldn't cough a little bit of blood because of the strain in her throat. Like she would cough, oh God, this woman suffered. Different complaints here and there. So it was more like we couldn't even recognize my mom. She was totally different from who we saw last. You understand? I would not attribute it to old age, because my mom is not that old, okay? So I just knew that something was medically wrong with this woman. So we finally decided that she was going to see the doctor. At least let them see her, examine her, and just assure us that she's fine. Secondly, this whole thing had already affected her eyesight. Like prior to when she visited the UK, she wasn't driving. She wasn't even driving again at all. So it's now my dad doing all the driving. And you guys know that she's taking care of my little nephews. So it was a big hurdle for my dad, because he would always be doing the school runs, doing these markets. He'll be driving them up and down. So she stopped driving actually. And being a lecturer, we felt, oh, you need your sight. And then unfortunately, the doctors she was seeing in Nigeria were like, we can't operate on you. She already had an operation. Okay, so I think I need to reset. So she already had a cataract operation on the right eye. The vision on the right eye was okay, manageable. But the doctors, or her doctors in Nigeria, said they cannot operate on the left eye because of that goiter she had on her neck, that it was mounting so much pressure, and that if they tried, she was going to lose her sight on that left eye. So when she came here, because of all the, complications on her eyes and everything, and then the way we saw her, we insisted she was going to go see the doctor. And then we were like, where? How do we even start? So we made inquiries. People said she could see NHS, but she could see the doctors in the NHS, but it's going to take long because of, you guys know how the NHS is. So we opted for private And the private hospital she went to is Northfield. I'm going to leave the name on the screen here in case you want to try them out. And the reason why we went there is because my husband, when we moved to this country, knew that was the first hospital he worked in before he started his GP training. So we had to make inquiry. And then the fact that he worked there, he knows that they do such surgery and all that. So we made further inquiry about this hospital, and then we decided she was going to go see the doctor in this Northfield. So when we went for our first visit, the doctor screamed. He was like, oh my God, this is so big. Like he wanted to send her for an x-ray, but by the time he said there was no point even sending her for the x-ray, that he could feel that this thing is massive, very big. So then we knew that it was time to get it out, So that's summary of the whole thing. So that's how we agreed she was going to have a surgery here. We asked the doctor, is it possible, because we knew she came in with a 6 months visa, so we didn't know the possibility of all these things happening within the time she's meant to be here. So luckily for us, the doctor gave us a date within the time, gave us a date like 3 weeks, I think 3 weeks or 1 month ahead. So she had some other pre-assessment tests and all that, visits to the hospital, which happened within that 1 month of her being here. So we're like, thank God we got a date within the time she was going to be here, and then she was going to have extra time to recover, go for checkup before she leaves. That was how we opted for the surgery. And the surgery fee for that particular thyroidectomy was, the fee they gave us was £7,000, which needed to be paid because that was self-paid. She didn't have access to the GP, and she even though they wanted her, they kept on asking, who's your GP, who's your, and then we'll be like, she doesn't have access to the GP, she only has her doctors in Nigeria. And then they were like, okay, fine. So that made them even do further assessments because they didn't have any medical history. We had to now call her doctor in Nigeria to send us a concise medical report of her situation so that the doctors here can use it to follow up. So he sent that, let me not forget that part because they needed a background, okay? And then my only worry during that period was just, someone of her age, with all the complaints she was making, we were hoping that there was nothing more underlying illness, because I think that was a risk in the whole thing. We're just praying that let it be that there's no underlying illness that was going to, cause any complication during and after the surgery. So, but we just kept faith. We just were like, God, please, because there was, if anything had happened, to be honest, I'm not gonna blame the doctors, because the way I'm gonna say it is, they did their part, and because she didn't have a GP, there could have been an underlying illness. But thank God we didn't have to go through that. Thank God. I'm just trying to tell you guys what we experienced and maybe the risk and all that in it. The fee for this surgery was £7,000, and because she didn't have access to NHS and she was a visitor, the surgery fee had to be self-paid, okay? So if you are thinking of, bringing your family here or your dad or whatever, you need to know that you have to pay out of pocket. Even though there is a payment plan, which I don't know, you have to go through finance, but I don't have any details on that, to be honest. So just know that it has to be self-paid. And then when she finished that, we didn't know if we were going to go in for the eye surgery, but because she was going back to Nigeria and they already told her that the pressure on that eye was so much that it was a 50-50 thing to, recover the sight in that eyes. So we knew that it would only be fair for her to go in and see an ophthalmologist before she goes back to Nigeria. So that prompted us to book another appointment in the same Northfield hospital for her to see an ophthalmologist. And when the doctor saw her, he was like, oh my God, the pressure on that left eye was just so much, because the goiter had already caused so much pressure. But then our prayer was, is the eye redeemable? And then the doctor had examined her and everything and said, yes, he can redeem it. But then we found out that the medication or the eye drop that she was being given in Nigeria, according to the doctor that saw her here, said that medication was, reducing her pupil or her lens. I don't even know which one. So they stopped using the medication like 30 years ago in this country. So that's to tell you the kind of, sometimes I just feel like we need to do better in our country. And the reason why, for me, I'm grateful to God is that even when she did that surgery she did in Nigeria, she had complication that she almost lost that right eye. And I'm telling you, very bad complication. She was mismanaged. So the second one, this one now, it was so heartbreaking for us to hear that the medication she has been on, the eye drop she has been on, they were stopped here in the UK like 30 years ago. So meaning that the woman was just, I don't know. So the doctor screamed. I was like, wow, how can you be on this? How can you be on this? So he prescribed different eye drops, which we got for her, which you're gonna buy, across the counter. Even with the prescription, you're gonna buy. Private prescription, you have to pay. It's not like when you bring prescription from NHS, where you have to pay a certain amount of money, but private, you have to pay more. Because of all these reservations and all that, after the doctor saw her, we knew that there was need for her to actually carry out that surgery here. It wasn't a matter of, okay, the doctor said the eye is redeemable, we'll go back to Nigeria and do it. No, we just knew one way or the other, the money had to be found for her to do the surgery here. So that was how she went in for the surgery here, because the surgery for that eye cost £2,900. When you guys know how much cataract surgery is in Nigeria, very cheap. But for me and for my family, we felt it was worth spending, because if that's going to give her back her sight and she's going to go back to normal activities and she's going to continue her lecturing, she's going to continue driving, then that amount is nothing. So that was why we decided to just push forward with it. Anyway, now you know the throat surgery cost her 7,000. The cataract surgery cost her 2,900. Roughly, with all the consultation, I think the first consultation with the throat surgeon cost £140, and then the consultation with the eye doctor cost £190. So if we add everything together, it's roughly £10,000 and plus or minus. But anyways, these are the costs, and these are from Northfield Health. So I'm aware that some other hospitals might have different costings for this thing, so you might want to check other private hospitals to know if you can get it cheaper. But we were just confident in this hospital, being that hobby was a part of them. I think for me, it's more about the services and not just the money involved, even though it's also about the money, but for me the service is more than the money involved. And we got everything we needed, like we got our money worth, because my mom left this country hale and hearty. A few days ago, she saw an eye doctor in Nigeria, because she's collaborating with the doctor here to make sure that they keep monitoring her eye pressure. So she had her first appointment a few days ago, and then the doctor said the pressure was coming down well. So you can see that every money we spent here was not futile, was not a waste. So I think it was worth it. The only thing I feel like our country is beginning to lack medical facilities, and the medical attention in Nigeria is just dwindling every day. So it's really sad, and that's what really prompted me to come and share this here, because I know a lot of people keep saying, oh, I want to bring my mom here, I want to bring my dad here. Trust me, it's worth it. If you can afford it, do it, because you want to do everything within your power to make sure your parents are alive. You want to do everything within your power to make sure they get the best medical attention, and unfortunately our country cannot offer us that at this moment. I'm sorry to say that I'm a proud Nigerian, but I'm gonna say it as it is. Our country is lacking it. I've had situations of family friends that their parents went for surgery, as in they came out hale and hearty after the surgery, but they were mismanaged and then they still died. So it is that bad in my country. Like, they'll just finish surgery and then they'll go. The doctors will finish and go to other places. They don't care how does this patient recover. If I remember what my mom went through recovering here, her recovery wasn't easy. But then we had access to the doctors. We were always going back into the hospital to make sure everything was okay. You understand? So they were all at our beck and call. But that is one thing we're lacking in our country. So I'm really grateful that my mom was able to get all these medical attention. And I really hope for those of you looking for a way to get your parents in here and bring them in here, if it's an emergency, I think you can apply for medical visa, maybe colonize, even though I know that this hospital, no hospital here will give you any letter until you are in the country. So but if it's an emergency, you can actually apply for medical visa, but otherwise just go through the visitors visa route and then get ready to spend some coins. Like I said, those of you planning to bring your parents in here for medical attention and all that, I wish you all the best, and I pray it works out for you, because you deserve that chance. You deserve to have your parents in good shape. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna be ending this video. I hope this video has been interesting. I hope it has touched somebody. I hope this video has impacted in somebody's life. If it has, don't forget to smash that like button, okay? If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section below. Whatever links I need to link for you guys, I'm gonna leave it in the description box. And don't forget to send in your stories or your questions to this email on the screen. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope and I pray that this video impacts in someone's life today.